Hey there, everybody. We're back. This Is Us is on the air once more, and this is our review of Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2. The 40th birthday is here for the Pearsons. We're all celebrating, even though there's a lot of sadness within these 2 hours.
Oh, I am so celebrating, guys. I've been waiting for this to come back, and I know you guys have been as well. This was so worth the wait. These 2 episodes were amazing, and they were jam-packed.
Most impressively, I think they delivered a big ending that holds true to the This Is Us form, where Randall says, let's just have a year without surprises, and then boom, there you have it.
Yep.
We are going to get into that. We're not spoiling it yet, because just so you know, there are spoilers throughout this video.
So many spoilers, guys. So many.
If you guys do enjoy what we're discussing here, we really hope you subscribe to the channel, because we are going into full This Is Us mode now moving forward throughout this season.
Yeah, if you've been following us for This Is Us for a while already, you know how we like to do it here at the channel. We'll always have reviews. We like to do some sort of preview stuff during the week. We love to dive into some of the theories on things with everyone. So there's going to be a ton of This Is Us coverage. So if you are new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, hit that bell. It's the best way to make sure that you get all our This Is Us updates. This Is Us updates.
There you go. Yeah, okay. See, our brains, I was about to say our brains, but our brains are full because we're trying to process the news of, wait for it, Randall's mother is actually alive, her biological mom. Congratulations. You called this like months ago.
I called this last season, if you guys remember. We did a whole bunch of videos. We did tons of theory videos. This was one that I actually got right. And it was when Randall was talking to his mom and was putting that guilt trip on her to be like, come on, you need to do this trial, sort of whatever. And then he was thinking to himself, he's just like, man, I've lost both my dads. I've lost my mom. This is my only parent that's left. And I was like, is it? Is it your only parent left? I feel like we had not learned anything about Randall's mom. Randall knows nothing about Randall's mom. William is gone. He's about to, he's heard all this stuff about Rebecca now. She has Alzheimer's and things are going sideways. I knew the mom was coming back in some shape or form. I had a feeling that she was probably still alive and that we were going to learn all about her.
I will admit here, I got bamboozled in this episode. Like, I knew your theory, but I was thinking, okay, they are bringing in Randall's biological mom. We're learning a little bit about her and William. I felt like that was sort of satisfying the curiosity, but then it was like, right when Randall said there's going to be no more surprises, at that point I was like, oh, okay, well, I know where they're going now.
Yeah, and I'm like, I just joke around by pat on the back
well,
here.
You
but
can still do it.
Listen, the thing is I rarely get anything right when it's like prediction type stuff. So when I do, I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel good about it when it actually happens. No, this one, I felt like they did leave enough sort of little Easter eggs going on of where we're going with this. They led us on the path to this last season.
We're going to have so much to unpack here, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it in some theory videos coming up, because, just the big instant reaction I have to all of this is just, where has she been all this time? Like, why has she tried to find Randall? Like, what has been her side to this story?
There's going to be so much coming up this season on that. I'm really excited about that, because that is a big question. If she did make it through this alive, where's she been? Like, what happened? Did she try to find him and she just couldn't? Like, did she struggle again with more addiction? She just wasn't able to? Did she kind of end up on that same sort of path as William? What happened? We'll find out.
This Is Us. I'm going to communicate directly with the writers here, who I'm sure have already mapped out the story, but just in case you guys need to change it, here we go. Don't make it so that Randall's mom actually died, like, I don't know, like 8 or 9. I have to assume she's alive still, because why else would you do this and put us through all of this?
Yeah, because I kind of feel like it's not going to be the same sort of relationship where Randall really got something out of reconnecting with his dad. At least that's not, I don't want the same story. It can't be exactly the same. There has to be something else that he can learn about himself and a different relationship that maybe he'll be able to have with his birth mom that then might actually be able to help him give Rebecca a little more of what she wanted.
I think it's going to be so important to his growth as a character because he is all over the place. You can see that emotionally.
And he is and was putting so much weight on Rebecca because in his mind, she is the only parent he has left.
And I think that pressure, it's getting to him. I think it's affecting, obviously, his relationship with Kevin. I think we saw in this episode, it's impacting his relationship with Kate in a really big way.
And it's impacting his relationship with Beth as well, when she kind of was like, listen, we haven't been intimate in a really long time. I was like, oh no, this relationship can't be going sideways like it cannot.
We've already gone through this.
No.
Yeah, there's so much powerful Randall stuff to get into, but here is the number one question on everyone's mind right now. Which one of those birthday cakes looked better? Because Randall got the red velvet concoction.
Nope, not for me.
Then there was that Neapolitan thing that that Kevin and Kate had going. I really want cake now, guys. That's what I'm saying.
Well, listen, Halloween's coming up. We'll have some cupcakes. And I'll put them up on Instagram for you guys, which is Matt and Jess TV. Follow us over there. I'm planning on making some witches' hats cupcakes. And I'm also going to make some vampire ones. Yeah, so I'll post some pictures up there.
Okay, the Randall scene, I'll say this. This is my favorite Randall scene of the episode. It is him and Malik. I did not expect to love this as much as I did. It was so good.
Listen, Randall had so many good scenes in this. That whole scene with Malik really touched me. I really love that. That scene at the end with him and Beth reconnecting and sort of being like, you have had so much tragedy in your life, but now look around you and look at what's happening. I was like, there's a little bit of peace going on right before, of course, the big reveal.
Yeah.
There was so much passion and just broke my heart a lot. That scene between Randall and Kate where she is trying to do what she can, but she can never understand what Randall is going through and what he's feeling like. And even the scene with Randall and his therapist where at the end he was just like, listen, you were right. I picked a Caucasian therapist and I need something different because I am stopping stuff at the door and I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to need to find a black therapist. I thought that was really powerful. This is a great Randall episode, both of them.
I don't think it's a surprise to say that Sterling K. Brown is a great actor, but it's just I feel like it's fine to repeat it. We can repeat it as this. We went in this scene with Malik where he's having these deep conversations about things he's never said before, and then he manages to pivot and end it. And I love the line of maybe you are my best friend, Malik, and that means you can't be Deja's boyfriend anymore because you can only be one. That was so funny.
It was so funny and felt so we got this little peek inside of Randall's soul, and then he was right back to being like, hey.
It was so vintage Randall, but I think the way that this show set all this up was really, really strong, where you already have this significant family crisis that Randall is going through, and then you compound that with a health crisis, and then you compound that with this crisis of racial and social justice that's going on, and it is, you can just feel the weight just kind of collapsing in on him, and he's trying to tell himself he's okay, but he doesn't have those outlets.
The thing that I was really glad that the show focused in on was this idea that everything that's happened recently with this racial injustice that's going on is that it has been going on a long time, and that because he was a young black man, black child in a white family, that there was nobody that he was really able to talk to about it. And that maybe his white parents didn't know what to do except shelter their kid, because that's what a lot of parents do anyways. shelter their kid from stuff the best that they can.
And I like how this is us presented this a lot, because they made it with Kate in particular that, Kate was legitimately trying her best. And I got that coming out of that scene. And I don't think she's ever been intentionally insensitive to Randall or what he's gone through at all. But, she doesn't have that experience. She hasn't been brought up in a way to understand that experience because, Jack and Rebecca, I think they also did in their minds what they thought was probably best, even if it was operating within a very huge lens of tunnel vision, because they're not equipped to understand the Black experience. And they certainly they weren't really outreaching and sort of understanding that Randall needed that.
Yeah, and then Randall wasn't speaking to the family about it either. So Kate was kind of in this position where she didn't have any understanding or anyone to sort of guide her into where it was. It was a different time back then, which is no excuse, but you still do have to be presented with what's going on in a way that you can also understand what's going on with your brother, who is Black and you are not. And so even though yes, she's trying now she's doing whatever she possibly can, which is good. Whenever you are able to get to the table and start doing something, yes, you should be doing that. And that was awesome. But I understand that Randall's kind of like, oh, man, like this has been going on a long time. Yeah. This is not the first person that this has happened to. You should have been here the whole time.
I think all of that was so well played. And this episode, it did have a lot to balance. Like, because there were these times where I was watching it and I was expecting, like, certain things from the finale to come back up. We had no sighting of Dr. Horse, the guy who, the new doctor that was introduced in those, like, timelines last season.
No. And let's talk about the, 500 is Kate and Toby getting divorced videos we did. Because that's how much was mentioned about it. She still signed her name Pearson, so I'm still dying on the same hill that I was dying on earlier, which is that she just did not give up that last name because that's the last little piece of her dad. And I'm sure Toby was like, of course, do whatever you want. Women keep their last names all the time. I'm fine with it. It doesn't make any difference to me. You do you. Because that is Toby. And then, the no wedding ring thing, it was nothing. Nothing. They've done this to us twice now.
No, I know. They did it with Randall and Beth and making us think that they were in trouble.
Yes.
Now we were okay, something bad is happening to Kate and Toby before the cabin. It's all going downhill. And so, they're fine. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, as soon as we're at the cabin, everybody's there. Toby's there. It's like, and that whole thing, Rebecca's being brought back. And where is Toby? He's not there. She's signing her name Pearson. We're all like, what is happening? Where's Toby? Out looking for Rebecca.
Yeah, it's like there's no problem here. There are things
I love this show.
Okay, I love this show. It also drives me insane a lot of the time. Like, I'm not going to deny that as well. Like, this whole nonsense.
It makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh that I'm sitting here, with my clown nose on, thinking, where's this doctor that they spent all this time introducing in the finale? Oh, you're not going to give us any flash forwards in the premiere. Okay.
No, I'm sure he's going to come back up again. They've said that he'll be back, but not right now.
Like, we had all this talk about, like, Sophie and Cassidy, and it's like, they're not even around.
No, okay, so let's get into the Kevin and Madison of it all, because after watching these 2 episodes, I know some of you are going to be mad at me, and I'm here to deal with it, so just tell me in the comments.
Oh, boy.
I really, really like what is going on with Kevin and Madison, because it feels very real. And I said this last season too, the idea of sort of these two see each other in a very real, raw way, where there is none of that sort of like when you're first dating someone, it's all like, you're the best. No, you're the best. And everything is just kind of shrouded in love and flowers and rose-colored glasses. These two didn't ever have that. So what I was thinking last season, I was like, okay, if these guys end up together for a little while where it's kind of like, listen, we're having kids together, let's see if there's something here. I feel like their relationship, because it's as raw as it is and as honest as it is, that it could really work for a little while. And I'm not saying they'll be married forever. This is us. They like to throw in the twists. So is he married to her 10 years from now? Probably not. Yeah. However, the idea of them co-parenting is something that I think the show would want to go in that direction, because this is a show about different types of families, adopted families, blood relation families, and to have a relationship like that where it's like, oh, we tried to have a relationship but it's not working, but because we are able to still co-parent, this is something that's a lot of people do.
I think it worked in a way that made me very satisfied, because I didn't know where things were going to go with the two of them. Like, I figured there wasn't any sort of, like, super crazy shenanigans where Kevin would be engaged to someone else. Like, that was sort of revealed in the days leading up to the premiere anyway. But I just didn't... I felt like this was something that needed to be explored. And I am enjoying the two of them together. And like you said, I don't know if they're going to be married. I don't even know if they're going to be married. Like, they're engaged right now. But I think there's clearly something there. Like, I think they do have a relationship that could very well be compatible. Like, there aren't these, like, big, like, whoa, like, love story, like, hearts and rainbows and, like, unicorns coming down from the sky yet, but it's still early. Like, they have been thrown together in a very unusual way.
Yeah, because we also have the health crisis. So that whole idea that he was like, let me rent a house and you can have a wing and I can have a wing and let's just quarantine together. And she's like, why don't you just stay here? I have a guest room. I was just like, that's a really cool way to sort of accelerate a relationship, because they're living together now. So this is a way that not only are they getting to know each other, but they're getting to know each other in a very intimate setting where they are together all the time in quarantine. And these types of relationships do get accelerated, like being in Big Brother, for those of you who watch that.
Yeah.
It's true, right? You're living in a house together for 3 months all the time, all together, locked down.
I love that Kevin's guest room had, like, swords and stuff in it. It was just, like, so random in a way, and it just kind of was like, oh, we learned this little bit about Madison in just, like, a few seconds of time.
Yeah, and I really did enjoy this. I like that we know that there's a boy and a girl. We have seen a boy and a girl in the future. That like 99.9% squashes all those rumors that those two kids in the future, that they're like, one kid is Madison's, maybe one is another, neither of them. It's them. I feel 100%, but this is the show and sometimes they throw you a curveball. But I mean, it would be really a bit of a stretch for me if it's like, oh, we're having a boy and a girl. Oh, these children in the future, not that same boy and girl. I'd be like, what am I watching?
Yeah, you do not need to go full on soap opera. This is us. It's fine. You're doing a good job. I have a couple of moments that I think are just ridiculous and I enjoyed very much. Number one, Kevin, it is the Grace Sloan Hospital. It is not Seattle Grace. You need to get up to date on Grey's Anatomy. We cover it on the channel.
Also, we need to talk about Miguel single-handedly thinking he, saved one day at a time.
Miguel, who knew Miguel was such a one day at a time stan? Like, I had no... you love how that...
I loved it.
You love how that came back around in the episode, too, where it's just like one day at a time.
It's such a good show, and I love that was brought into it. I thought that was really cool. And I loved that they brought in sort of, because the fans really did, push to save the show.
Yeah, they did. Miguel, we have said this is going to be your year. We believe in you, Miguel. I hope it's good. I hope something terrible doesn't happen to you because I'm worried.
I really liked Miguel in this. I mean, I like Miguel anyways. I feel a lot of the times I'm on Miguel Island here, but I really liked how he handled things in this episode. I loved at the end where she was like, let's buy a sapling because I'm not going to be around long enough. And he handed her a packet of seeds. I'm like... Their relationship, or even just on a base level, their friendship is incredible. It's so just comfortable with each other, and he knows what she needs.
I think we needed that too, because we had that scene where Miguel was on the phone and Randall kept telling Miguel what to do, and it felt sort of like Miguel was being put in his place. I
thought that was happening too.
Yeah, and I don't think Randall was being intentionally disrespectful. I think he's just concerned about his mom, but I think it's good for Miguel to sort of have his own sense of power and be like, this is what I can provide Rebecca that no one else can, and I appreciated that so much.
I really appreciated that too. And we didn't even talk, we were talking about Kate and Toby. They got a match for an adoption. And that is another theory that we've been talking about at the channel.
Yeah.
Is that daughter from the future actually their adopted daughter, or are they going to end up having one where Kate might get pregnant again and maybe they just won't adopt, or maybe there'll be the huge reveal that they have their own big three, but they are not all the same age.
I think all of this is still out there. Like, I don't think we even, like, they found a match doesn't mean it's going to go through.
Yeah, things happen.
You know, I feel optimistic that this is going to happen. Like, I'm hopeful for them. I don't think we need to continue to put Kate through more emotional turmoil after what we did last season. Like, I think we need to see a win with her.
Yeah.
I don't expect this to happen overnight. Maybe it'll happen within the next 5 or 6 weeks, kind of like Kevin and Randall. I don't expect them to be healed overnight.
Yeah, okay, so let's get to the hardest part of this,
Yeah.
which is their fight. I mean, I liked seeing that one little moment where they were both trying to text each other about the twins, and
Yeah.
they both did the same thing where they texted something a little more genuine and casual, like they had been, brothers and talking forever and
Yeah.
everything's okay, and then they both erased it and then put out this sort of like kind of crappy text. You can see from that how much they really want to find a way to reconcile this.
They clearly do love each other, and I think they're going to get back to that place at some point, even if it's not exactly what it was. But those text messages, that was so well done. I think the
Really
scene
well done.
with Kevin and Randall, where Kevin's trying to have a conversation with them as Randall's about to leave, you can see he's like straining and he wants to get there, but he's not. Neither one of them, I think they're just not really there yet, and I don't think this is us as trying to prolong it. I think they're just trying to deal with the reality of this, that, like, both parties want to fix it, but neither one of them knows how to, like, put their neck out a little bit.
Yeah, the things that were said by these brothers were stuff that you can't walk back. Like, it has changed their relationship, and it will change their relationship, and it doesn't mean that they don't love each other or they can't get back to having something that is much more brotherly love. We saw it in the 10-year flash forward where they have the hand on the back and everything, so we know that they're going to get there. I'm just really glad that they didn't just give us everything right here right at the beginning. I want to see what that's going to look like, but it was cool that Kevin told Randall first he's having a girl and a boy.
We have to get to the major problem with this episode, and I think they did a lot really, really well. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is even fully, it's not fully their fault because they were dealt a really, really bad hand with a lot of this. But there's a pretty significant plot hole when it comes to the way in which they sort of depict the health crisis with everything that happened that we first saw with Rebecca kind of traveling around at the mid-season finale last time.
Yeah, that mid-season finale where she was, she was at a restaurant, she was at the grocery store, nobody had a mask on. Nobody had a mask on at the grocery store. The cops are bringing her back. No masks here. Everybody's just walking in. Everybody's in the cabin. Nobody's got a mask on, and there's a cop right inside there, like we're in the middle of a health crisis. And even just that scene, and I know they had to do it this way because otherwise there'd be even more inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Even when Miguel was like, oh no, we have a system, so when she goes out, she'll be able to come back. There was no, don't forget your mask, Rebecca. Like, don't go out there and bring more problems home for yourself or all of us. We're all, locked down, up here. So it was really hard for what they had to do.
I don't know if there's an easy solution to this either, because, obviously they couldn't predict the future back when they did that episode. There was no way for them to know that we were going to be in this place that we are right now, but I don't know if this is where you just sort of have to accept that this is what it is. There's no real changing it, or if you try to just retcon what you did previously and be like, okay, we're going to go back and act as though everyone was wearing masks outside to more accurately depict reality. It's just, there is no way, I think, for them to handle this that wouldn't have changed what they'd already done somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how they go back and kind of fix that. I think this is just going to end up being an inconsistency that we all have to just kind of accept with the show to be like, listen, they had no way to predict this.
Yeah.
Because they jump around with timelines, it is real difficult for them to go back and fix that. Like, I don't know how they would do that.
I'm just
CGI on little masks on
I know.
everybody. Like, there's no way.
I'm happy though overall that I feel like they addressed everything in a way that made it feel as seamless as possible.
Yeah.
I connected it to big stories. I've heard ultimately that, this stuff isn't going to change the end game of the show. So, like, that's still going to be intact. But this is incredible 2 hours. I mean, so incredible we're able to sit here and talk about it for 25 minutes because there's even still so much material in here.
There is so much stuff. I feel like we can't do a deep dive in this like 25 minutes you guys have already been watching. Thank you to everybody who's made it to the end of this video. That we will end up having sort of more like picking like just Kane Toby and getting a little deeper into that and some theories on that stuff. And we're going to do that every week after the episodes throughout the week. We'll have other little theory videos. They'll be shorter than this.
We have plenty of time because there's not another episode for a couple weeks. Next week's the election. It's going to be off the air, but let us know, what did you guys think about the premiere? Give us your favorite moments. What moment stomped on your heart the most? What do you think is going on with Randall's mom? And also, if you guys did enjoy this discussion, remember to subscribe, give us a like, support us further as well. Check those links to the store as well as our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.